Welcome to season 2021. We're season 11. Today is the first day of rank starting. Everybody is busy getting their placements down. This is bronze, silver level promos. Well, not promos, placements match. I checked this game on OPGG live game. There's a pretty even distribution of bronze to silver. I think like 4 bronze, 4 silver, or something like that. Across 10 players, the other 2 are unranked in the previous season. So I think it's pretty safe to call this, I'm going to call this low silver placement match. So the winner here will gain a hefty amount of LP to help boost their placements initially into the season. Everybody, I believe, starts in iron. I have no idea how rank works. I don't play it that much. Of all the things I know about League, the placements and ranking system is something I definitely do not know a lot of. But the matchups are as thus. We are gonna have a Sylas top lane going up against Quinn. Decent jungling against the Warwick. Ahri mid against Diana. AFK Swain. No, AFK Pantheon just now back up against the Swain in the support position. We're gonna have Misfortune and Kai'Sa going up head to head here in this matchup. Comet Misfortune. Hope she knows what she's doing with that. Definitely a very annoying build to go up against. Recently faced one myself. Comet MF. Highly annoying pick. Although given this elo, and I love trashing on low elo players as much as the next guy. Friendly, of course. I'll never go outright and insult them or anything. But definitely when you look at some of these builds, you look at some of these with a cadence of, hey, are you sure you know what you're doing? With that pick, it's kind of like how I see something like Mandate Ash in extremely low elo, where it's more, are you sure your team can work with you when you do that build? Definitely a very strong build. Mandate Ash, Comet MF with, I believe, I hope at least an Eclipse. But it's one of those things where the playstyle isn't necessarily traditional, so it's something you gotta be careful with. Definitely when you're playing a lower elo, my advice would always be play something simple. If you play something that's very linear, you essentially turn yourself into a stat check for the enemy. And if you are consistently better, the enemy will consistently fail the stat check against you and die. Something with higher ceilings or higher floors are definitely less... Oh, there's a nice Kai'Sa kill. They're definitely less suitable for climbing. It's the same principle of, hey, if you wanna climb to, like, say, Legend in Hearthstone or Master in Shadow Earth or Master in Legends of Runeterra, play some aggro. You know, your end game's fast and you can farm a lot of elo that way. It's something kind of the same here in League of Legends as well. You wanna climb out of low elo, play some stompers, play something more linear. Misfortune is also dead to the ignite. You cannot disrespect the kill power that the Pantheon has. He just clicks on you with a stun. Oh, Quinn is going to seriously underestimate the tower shot, but the ignite is in fact a cheat summoner spell and gets her a kill back. Lee Sin flashes forward to try to make this connect, but that is very zealous of him. He flashed forward with absolutely no cooldown, so which means Diana just casually walks away. But that is going to be a 2 vs 3 overall. Bot lane losing out here, but top lane also losing out. Jesus, it's actually 14 CS to 5. That's a wave and a half behind it just 4 minutes in. Oh, wave and a half is about like 45 seconds worth of minions, so he's farmed for about half as long as Quinn has the whole game so far, which is definitely a lot more significant than a nice CS deficit later on in the game. Losing CS deficit early too also means you have a penchant to be lower on EXP as well, and if you're lower in levels, your lane is just doomed. Oftentimes that is the biggest place where you can identify whether or not you won or lose a lane. First is how many items you're each carrying, and whoever's hit their item power spike first. Then second is just levels. If you're a level down or 2 levels down early on in the game, it's almost always a death knell. Also, Sylas gonna crash this massive wave, which means that he's even more behind than I thought. That's like 15 minutes that Quinn can just pick up. And Lee Sin is going to come up as well, and poor Sylas going to be so incredibly behind. Although, this gank from Lee Sin, it's actually made Quinn lose out on a lot. Some of the minions are crashing into the tower. She won't get as much money out of this as she wants to. In fact, that was a pretty boneheaded gank to begin with. He went top when Quinn's got such a massive minion wave to stare down at. And she didn't really get the kill, nor did she get the huge wave. So it's kind of a huge loss. Swain turns around for the Ignite and then just stands still, making him a very easy kill for the Pantheon. So Miss Fortune, half CS compared to the Kai'Sa. Although the good news is it's being made up for in the top lane. Red team will be the first to take dragon. It's Warwick. He gets free dragons as soon as he's level 4 because he's obscene at killing objectives. Obscene in the very strong sense. Now Lee Sin coming in for another gank. Beautiful landing off the Sonic Wave. Dashing forward for Ahri. There's a charm to Spirit Rush. The second Spirit Rush sent her so far away, but the third one will correct it. Meanwhile, top lane, there's a solo kill coming out from the Quinn as well onto the Sylas. Sylas! Oh, poor Sylas. Probably out of the game after that death. When you're this far behind against a ranged top laner, as somebody who's not necessarily going to go tank, and he is in fact not going tank, that is going to be like Andries coming out from him. It's not a great time. He's just going to fall more and more behind. He comes in for a trade against Quinn. There's minions pounding him. He's already fallen so low. Now if Quinn has half a brain, she has the Ignite out. Just go in and kill him again. Just go in and kill him again. There it is! He TP's in into another solo death. That is that's a tilter. Now he has no teleport and once again no life. So he is very, very screwed. He's gonna be sitting on 2 Amtoms for a worryingly long while. Quinn is going for the wall. That actually dodges out on the Pharaoh Scream, which means there's no fear coming down on her. However, she's completely out of mana, which means staying around for the Warwick to scratch her some more is a terrible idea. Back now before you lose your wave. She is in fact going to recall. Don't get greedy now. Once she gets back, she'll automatically be attached onto... Well, not automatically, but it's a free cast of Valor. She'll be able to Sky Strike back. Lee Sin coming in, getting the Tempest and the Cripple. The Charm once again will land, but here comes a Party Crasher. Moonfall goes down, so much burst coming out. Lee Sin dies in this gank, not be able to do anything. Pantheon makes the roam happen. Bot lane is definitely Red Team's sole focus point right now. They are the only lane that is advantaged. Mid lane is more or less even, but top lane is extremely far behind. Bot lane is Red Team's place of power. I'm surprised. Other than that one Pantheon roll mid, Red Team has not tried to attack this more. The other mentality you gotta consider in a lower elo that most people don't have. People are usually under a lot of pressure for, hey, I'm behind, come salvage this for me. And sometimes that's not the right call. If you have a strong point, you should be attacking through your strong point to try to pressure the enemy and make them fall even further behind. So if your lane is super screwed, getting a gank is usually the worst thing that can happen. You waste your jungler's resources, you're probably not going to get that gank, and you risk being killed off here as well. Mid and bot should be where the Warwick should be looking 24/7, but he's still constantly positioning topside, and he leaves the Diana side for like 2 seconds, which means that Ahri gets that free kill. Because this Diana just cannot make anything happen on herself. So in this situation, you might see like, oh, Sylas is super far behind. And he might be tempted to say, hey, I'm super far behind, where are you? Come gank me. But you gotta consider you're so far behind that even if you get the jungler to come up top once and ganks you, it's still not enough to turn a lane, and you essentially wasted his time. Quinn's still gonna be ahead, she's still gonna pound you, and meanwhile your opponent could be grabbing objectives. Your opponent could be trying to turn a less behind lane. This top lane is over, functionally. In all senses of the word, Quinn's gonna flash in for the Ignite. If she cycled her abilities better and gotten 2 Valor procs, that Ignite Flash was not needed. And in fact, using Ignite Flash on a Sylas for less than 300 gold is most likely not worth it. You are going for more of the mental warfare here, where you actually come up behind, you blue 2 summoners to get 1 kill, that's not worth a lot. But you make him suffer. He will have a terrible time, and I lie about where he's going. That's probably either Night Harvester or Proto Belt or Rocket Belt coming out of him. Swain going to go up and clear some wards. He's definitely not had a great laning phase so far. A lot of his deaths, in fact all 3 so far, have been started off by getting picked off by a click-on stun. Always something that you have to respect. As a Swain, you cannot walk into a Pantheon's face. He will demolish you. Quinn takes a huge burst. She has no innate sustain. Be very, very careful. Sylas steals her ult and gets on Valor for... Please tell me just wave clear, right? He's not doing any... He's not gonna do anything stupid with Quinn form, right? Okay, yes, he is just going to get off the Sky Strike. So that was a completely meaningless abduct. So he'll head back and he'll be able to abduct it again in about a minute. Bird form is always a free abduct because the cooldown for that, the internal cooldown for that, not abduct's cooldown, is going to be 20 seconds. So you always have that as an opportunity to steal. The Sylas going to get traded against Lee Sin, but Lee Sin misses his own combo. Is it gonna be enough? No, Sylas is gonna turn around with the damage. Lee Sin is tanking minions as well. He can't survive. Oh, Sylas, he's gonna get a kill back. How did the Lee Sin die to that? Quinn is gonna come back, and turns out it was all a ploy. It was just to reset the Sylas' gold bounty, and the tower dive goes awry. But is it that awry? It's an execution coming out for the Kai'Sa. Bot lane doesn't actually lose too much. Warwick pounces forward for the Swain. Swain's gonna pop the ultimate. However, he has no mana, which means this is a very ill-advised ultimate. You shouldn't be popping that unless you're sure you can fight back with everything else. Diana's gonna come on top to get a shutdown. Quinn drops a lot of money here to the mid laner. Swain is still brawling against the Warwick, but when both players fall low, Warwick wins 100% of the time. Doesn't even matter how low he gets. Popping the Swain ultimate when you're already out of mana is definitely not the best choice. A Bando Glass Mirror, he is closing in on Imperial Mandate. I do have some thoughts about that. I do think Liandry's is significantly better than Imperial Mandate on Swain. The only time where I really think about doing Mandate is if you're super far behind. Like I don't think this is warranting... I just personally don't like Mandate on Swain. Despite Imperial Mandate being quite literally Swain's item, like in lore, that is Swain's lore item right there. It's not necessarily the best buy for him. Liandry's is a lot more useful in a lot more situations. Oh, that is a lot of damage coming out from the Hextech Alternator. That's going to force the Quinn back here. She goes back in for the blind, going to try to farm up the wave. She still has no sustain. Oh, she's working on Noon Quiver and the Dirk. No sustain, no shield bow, no Kraken Slayer, which means that the damage she takes against the Sylas is essentially permanent. And notice, no refillable potion, which means every time she chucks a potion, she's losing money. Very valuable money. Oh, that abduct 100% was a kill, but Sylas just cannot make it happen. The Swain's gonna get picked up yet again here in the bottom lane. Seems like it's the story of the game so far. See, in that situation, when you're this far behind, I think you recognize it, and instead of rushing for your mythic, sit on the mirror, because you already bought the Bando Glass Mirror. Straight Zyas, just straight buy Zyas. Buy the arm guard first. That is 45 armor, extremely efficient item on a budget. It's very cheap for like 45 armor. That's extremely efficient. It's one of the most blatantly overpowered items you can get. Work that into a Zyas Hourglass. Now you have survivability. Now you stop dying all the time. And then bam, you can start working towards your actual mythic. If you're leaving yourself so vulnerable with these items, you're gonna get a mythic and you're still going to have the item, you're still gonna have the problem of, hey, people kill me instantly. Which means that you're spending money to not further your own uptime on the map, essentially. Zyas prolongs your uptime. Armguard is a very budget item. Sylas didn't get the plate, what a tragedy. But Armguard is a very budget item for a lot of armor value. And Pantheon is what's killing you here. So definitely get early steel caps, get early arm guard. Abandon your mythic for now and focus on items that can immediately prolong your life. And the Zyas is key, it's core, it's built on Swain every single game, so just work on that first. It's not even a detour, it's just a shifted order to ensure that you stop dying all the time. Because it is true, in a lane like this, where Kai'Sa Pantheon has a lot of kill power on you, there's sometimes, when they pounce on you, there is not a lot you can do. Diana completely whiffs the Moonfall, but Sylas going in for the abduct, it actually lands, but Ahri buffers the flash through it. Which means Sylas just can't make anything happen here. He abducted the Spirit Rush, I believe, but couldn't close enough distance to make it happen. He's also super out of mana, but here comes the Lee Sin. Takes half his health instantly from the Night Harvester proc. That means he's out of there. Swain even roams himself up top, but once again, the items on Swain right now, Bandle Glass Mirror and Kindle Gem, it is not boosting his power. He doesn't actually get anything, so hold up. Hold that thought, we're gonna have this team fight. Warwick's gonna die under the tower. Miss Fortune channels the bullet time. The Lee Sin will not survive the tower dive, but here comes the Pantheon. He's trying to make something happen. Is he gonna make a pounce? No, the Aegis Assault is gonna keep him alive for now. Kai'Sa's Void Seeker will go wide for now, but she's still walking top lane. It's a 4-on-3 for now. Can they make anything? Well, they get the tower uncontested, but Moonfall is coming very close to coming up. I believe it is up, but Diana not going in for it. A wise move given everything, but might also not have been bad. Quinn is half, everybody else used their ultimates already, which means that if Diana did force a re-engage with the rest of her mana bar, she might be able to make a few pickoffs. But once again, risky. Probably a low percent play, so it might have been correct to not go for it. But yes, back to my earlier point, this item, highly inefficient. It is 1,000 something gold for 20 AP, 10 AH, and 50% base mana regen. 50% base mana regen. Practically worthless past the point. Past the point. That is definitely very useful early on, but 20 AP and 10 ability haste. That is very low. 20 AP is half of a blasting wand for more than the cost. And 10 ability haste is very negligible. It's like 8% CDR. And these two items combined do not give you enough combat stats. You get 200 health, 20 AP, and 20 ability haste for almost 1900 gold. When 1900 gold is easily Arm Guard plus a stopwatch, in the immediate moment, a lot more useful, especially if you died early on in lane and money becomes a very tight sore spot for you. Just buy more efficient items. Mandate is a very strong item, that is very true. However, even when you do get Mandate off very low income, you're not going to be prolonging your life. You'll still just die because you're behind and you're squishy. And people just kind of walk all over you. Where in the immediate moment, working with what little you have, look for more efficiency. And it's definitely something that every player has to learn on their way to becoming a better player than they were. Oh, Lee Sin. No, Pantheon gonna flash forward and jump on his face. Here comes the Swain, and there's the problem once again. Way too squishy against the AD output. Granted, Kai'Sa is doing magic damage to the plasma, but she never detonated it. Blue team does clean house, gets double kill. And finally, mandate complete on the Swain. But yes, that is something that players do have to learn. Is the concept of, hey, the game state is changing, so my item state should deviate as well. I shouldn't be rushing the same item every game. Granted, you don't have to do that. Like, you can definitely be plat or even diamond and still build the exact same items at the exact same time every single game and just ignore the state of the game. It can work. It's not optimal, but it can work, and those are the games where people get carried. I too am definitely guilty of doing that, but speaking from purely a spectator's perspective or from an outside perspective, that isn't a hard concept. It's just, hey, I'm behind. I should build defensive items, or I should build more efficient items. So you look at your build and you just change the order you build two of the items. It's definitely a lot more efficient in the short run. The science of that is a little bit different, and this triggers me, by the way. Why are you sending 5 people to do it? Any competent champion, I didn't say player, I said champion. Any competent champion with one finished item can solo Herald in like 30 seconds. You do not need to commit 5 people for it. This isn't Baron. If you play a Herald fight right, you can walk away taking 0 damage. Like, this is not an objective that you need to crash your whole team into, especially when everybody else could be going around doing much more efficient things, like Now blue team might just be getting picked off because they all went their separate ways after killing a Herald. So they're gonna drop 4 bodies for no reason. Quinn is the only survivor here. She's gonna fly mid, try to make a pickoff happen here perhaps. No, she's just gonna fly right into Kai'Sa's face. What is she doing? But oh, seems like that will be a kill anyway. It cuts very close. Way closer than it has any right to be. And now the rest of the red team are coming in for a collapse. Pantheon does not have the Starfall ready. But Quinn might just be serving herself up. What is she doing? Ah! There's the mandate proc on the swing. He's gonna flash in for the ultimate. The Kaka Crow goes hungry. And he gets a shutdown onto the Diana. Resetting his gold streak. And finishing Swerk Shoes. Not what I would have bought this game. Especially now with Mandate. Mandate isn't necessarily the highest damage item you can buy. Something like it helps your allies do more damage, not you, which means your Swerk Shoes doesn't get as much value. Definitely would have been a Steel Caps game for me here, or a Merc Treads game for me here, given the heavy amount of AP overall that red team is sporting in their solo lanes. A Swain that lives for a long time is going to be a Swain that deals damage no matter what, which is also another idea behind buying Liandry's over Mandate on a Swain. Because if you do have Liandry's and you just pop Xayahs and stand perfectly still in the middle of a fight, you do like 1 billion damage to everybody, and it's insane, and there's no counterplay and people hate it. Lee Sin is going to finish that off as a Dragon's Rage, and this is a surprisingly close game so far, 21 minutes in. We're going to have roughly 2 kills per minute, 1 for each side, very evenly distributed. Everybody gets a share. The gold is essentially, for all intents and purposes, tied. The tiny differences between the two teams make absolutely no difference whatsoever. Diana coming in for the Moonfall. The Warwick coming in for a re-engage. However, Dragon Rage not available. Swain gets his ultimate back up again, but unfortunately, still no Xayahs. Still very squishy. Popping the ultimate does not heal you back nearly enough for it to make a difference. Make a rain, gonna make it slow. Diana goes away, leaving Ahri alive. Quinn is still up top trying to make something happen. She is very strong right now, but she's also running Kai'Sa's the Kai'Sa's Q Rush build, the exact Kai'Sa Q Rush build that is a very long vault, approximating the distance over the wall and getting the difference. But Pantheon gets that spear, easiest Q of his life. So it is unfortunate, but red team do take a few more bodies off blue team on their retreat. That's gonna place them in Dragon Soul territory. 3-1. So a lot of times you... Oh wait, surrender team Wolford. Why did red team surrender? Of that one bad fight? No, they still won it in the end. But it's something that people have to watch out for. Like, if you look at the game say here, you say, oh, 3 Drakes to 1, we must be losing. I don't agree. I still think you can win. In fact, this is an extremely even game still. Ignoring the part where Quinn just dropped a massive shutdown streak, still a very, very winnable game. Very even. In fact, I will actually say on some counts, red team is more ahead. They have a superior composition to make picks. And they have a superior composition to deny team fights, and Quinn, the ever-present threat if she gets ahead. Unfortunately, in today's meta, not necessarily a champion, but if you get this much ahead, you can still just roam the enemy jungle and pick off whoever you see in just a few hits. Lee Sin's gonna come in and just offer himself up as free food. A very controversial move, but it seems to work in red team's favor. Quinn not boots, asks the Warwick. Which is a very valid point. Quinn doesn't get boots for... Quinn gets boots not for the move speed, necessarily, because she gets a crap ton of move speed. But she more than gets it for the stat. Berserker Greaves is a very efficient attack speed item you can buy on Quinn. So skipping boots is definitely not forgivable for Quinn. Just because you can fly like a bird outside of combat doesn't necessarily mean you won't need the move speed in combat. There she goes. It's very easy to turn off a Quinn's movement speed, by the way. Just hit her with anything. Pantheon gonna flash forward, but then he remembers that he's slowed. So he just offers himself up to the gods. Quinn mounts up, chasing after the Kai'Sa. He's basically a practical airplane, gets the pick off. And this would be an amazing time to start Baron because everybody's here and you picked off 2 people. But unfortunately, they do not.
What do you see up there?
Because killing their bot lane is not enough. Warwick, however, has the better game sense compared to all of blue team, and warns the rest of his team that blue team may be starting Baron until that myth gets immediately dispelled when everybody at blue team just spontaneously decides to show mid. But I would think common sense dictates that if you catch out 2 people right outside Baron pit, that's a free Baron buff gifted to you. Diana goes in for a 1v4 attempt, it ends as well as you think it be. You think it would end. However, she did actually exceed my expectations. People were very close to dying. Quinn's Vault saves herself, and here comes a Warwick. He has the ultimate. Make it count! He does, in fact. 450 gold into his pocket. Very well done, sir. He is now very ahead. Quinn, yet to pick up any defensive layers. She is just saying, if I'm going in, I'm not coming back out until they're all dead. No boost, no QSS. No defenses whatsoever, no GA. Oh lord, she is hard committing. If she's going in, she's not coming back out until one team is all dead. Even if she wants to run away, she leaves herself no room to get away. I'll check back on the Swain. What is he building? Giant's Belt does not go into Zayas, which is the #1 item you should be picking up right now. Should have picked up an entire item ago, in fact, but it's still not there. Giant's Belt is... oh, it's Abyssal? That can't be Abyssal. That makes no sense to buy Abyssal right now. Your Swain does not provide enough immobilization. He has 1 immobilize. He does not provide immobilization to justify Abyssal Mask. I will say certainly Hourglass, even Demonic Embrace, is a lot more called for at this stage in time. But nevertheless, blue team's still in the game. Still yet to lose it by a very long shot, but here comes the Warwick. He gets kicked in the face while he's CC immune, which means nothing bad happens, but the bad stuff happens right now. Miss Fortune gets caught out and killed off by the Diana. Swain is next to go. Lee Sin is still brawling the Warwick, but like I said, when 2 people fall to critical health, Warwick wins it 100% of the time. Red team, what do they do here? They send Warwick to deal with the Dragon's threat. And everybody else recalls except Diana to fend off the Quinn. Overall, I would say that's still a strategic win in favor of Red Team. They get themselves the soul, a very high value soul for Red Team. Just ignore that Quinn quick kill for a sec. I mean, you should be killing that Kai'Sa in that few shots if you're this fed. But this is a highly strategical Cloud Soul here. Getting this would be such a huge boon to everybody here on Red Team. They all want that massive move speed burst. The Quinn, very careful. She's running into her death. That's going to be a killed off birdie. So unfortunately, that is a massive strategical loss here for blue team. And I'm still kind of rooting for them to make the win happen because it's so close. It's right in their grasp, but they're like toddlers with no thumbs and they just refuse to grip on it time after time. But I still believe, I believe that they can make it happen. I believe that they will band together and figure out, oh wait, we're playing the game completely wrong. They still have many threats. Quinn is still very fed. Ahri is still extremely strong. She has more or less the correct items that you should be having. But everybody else is not doing so hot. Miss Fortune with the Monomune still essentially irrelevant for all intents and purposes. There's no Eclipse on her. She went for... Is that Mortal Reminder or Lord Dominic's? I can't... Okay, she went for Mortal Reminder, which makes even less sense. Instead of Eclipse, which is 100% what she should have bought second. But it turns out AD carries here are just blowing their money on random stuff. Oh, Quinn going to catch out a Warwick. Unfortunately, that's probably the one champion that Quinn can't beat. And Warwick proves it with a little assistance there from the Pantheon. Question mark pings do go down. Wonder if he's calling out for a KS or anything, but it doesn't really make sense. Yes, Warwick's the one person Quinn can't kill. Look at his items. There's no way a Quinn kills him. Despite how fed it is, you have to remember Quinn is still not necessarily a champion in League of Legends. He's not in a great spot right now. Pantheon shows up, spears the Misfortune in the back, but he is gonna get killed off here immediately. Warwick has no ultimate, so he is going to turn around and book it out of there. But Lee Sin cancels not one but two autos. He's gonna stand still on top. Are you sure you should be doing that? It's not in the prime moment right now. Unfortunately, Swain completely misses the never move. It's not gonna matter. The shutdown goes over to the Ahri. She picks up 700 gold off Warwick's corpse. The BM, never a good idea. And I'm surprised this game is still so even. Every time I cast a low elo game, I expect blowouts, but it's never a blowout. It's always some tight match that goes one way or the other. I just got spoiled, by the way, too, in Discord. I'm gonna no spoil I casting. But now we know this game somehow ends in 3 minutes from now. I'm shocked that this game ends in 3 minutes from now. I fully expected this game to last like 50 minutes, given the state that this is going. But now that we know the result, I will say this game is still, up until this point, like 55-45 in favor of red team. They're ahead, but only by the slimmest margins. And I hope blue team realizes that. They have two very strong players that you can still play the game through. And oh my god, it is the Abyssal. That's like that item makes the least sense out of everything else you could have bought. Unfortunately, Ahri is gonna get caught out here. Oh, is this how the game ends? Oh, is this how the game ends? Oh, that's you know, I expected this game to go out with a bang, not with a whimper. And that was a pretty pathetic whimper. Ahri's gonna just get caught out, and that's gonna be a dead fox. Quinn's gonna get caught out yet again. Or actually, I don't think this game ends in 3 minutes. I did delay a bit before casting this game. So I say this game is over in like 5 to 6 minutes from now. In which case, that makes sense. Getting so many of your fan members caught out for absolutely nothing in recourse is going to be a pretty sturdy nail in the coffin, I will say. But we're gonna have some words being cleared by the Diana. Good, good, good. So let's talk about individual players. Like, how can an individual player in this position look to carry? So people like Misfortune. Probably dead weight. She went for the Comet build and just skipped her Mythic. Probably nothing to be done there. Warwick spells moment wrong twice. That's an epic gamer moment. Lee Sin walks into a Diana and just once again, for like the 16th time this game, offers himself up to the gods for free. Oh, but is it for free? Here comes the cavalry. The Lee Sin stuns the completely wrong target, but the threats are still alive. The moonfall damage is there. Misfortune channels the bullet time. Is it enough? It is enough. Quinn gets the triple kill. Here comes the Kai'Sa in the back. She's gonna get a double cleanup. 3 for 3. Blue team find an even team fight, and that was a very high fight. I almost forgot that blue team ends up losing. This is probably how Warwick comes in for the cleanup. Shut down onto the Quinn. Elder Dragon is 30. Oh, it's an Elder win. I still maintain losing those objectives early game, not a big deal. Losing that dragon because you wanted to split push top instead, probably a bad idea. Getting so many bodies killed for no reason whatsoever, also a terrible idea. A lot of this also just comes down to the vision. Blue team's vision is very sparse and very pathetic. I see 3 words on the map in total. A grand total of 3, count them, 3 words. The last fight happened outside the word's range. That word that just expired here is absolutely useless. There is no chance in how you're fighting there. And I have no idea what that word is for. So really, you just have one word to work with and you didn't even fight around it. You have no information to begin fights with, which means you always lose. Lee Sin's gonna come in for the Miracle Steal, and the miracles will not happen today. Now, red team, very ahead of 2 consecutively won team fights, and you do not ward from that angle, especially not when red team has just taken Elder. Putting down that word is the worst idea you could have done at that particular moment, and that is gonna be so many dead bodies, and that's the end of the game. 35 minutes in. They don't have a wave. It shouldn't matter. Like, you can just face tank this tower and just end the game. But yes, for individual players, anyone can carry, but nobody chose to do it. So that's gonna be red team taking the dub at 35.5 minutes in.